It's Marcel. How you doing? Oh, saga. Oh, by the way, new mug. HSBC building with a little joke thing. It's not official. It's on Zizzle, but I thought it was quite good because it's going to be nostalgic at some point. You know, thinking back as to when we used to work in the HSBC building. Another year to go on that. So yes, saga. I didn't say, I said in a post recently my friend had their phone stolen. It was actually my wife in Starbucks in Embankment, with a wallet, phone, credit cards, driver's license, boom, gone. A moment of, you know, put it down to get your coffee, gone. So the last few days, more of a nightmare. Two things happened. One, that she didn't know her password or she had forgotten her password. You know, she was fairly sure. Password for the Apple. If you don't have that, how are you going to get your authentication done? And you know, so anyway, problem after problem on that, and now we're waiting another 3 days before we get access to that. You know, they tell you, oh, we'll investigate. Oh, within another hour, we're going to the Apple shop, etc. Meantime, good news is that if Vodafone Insurance turned around the phone, gave her a new phone immediately, so that was quite good. So she's back on. We've got her another Apple ID. She's just not got her original stuff, but another Apple ID to get her going, which is good. But meantime, what happened was obviously you go through change passwords and all that and everything, make sure they don't have access. It was because it's a race against time. Because what happened was about obviously when it first stolen, location no find my none. So they've found a way to either have switched it off totally, or they've found a way quickly to get in and put it into airplane mode. We'd think it was locked, but we'd not. There's no certainty around that. And then when we got myself and my two stepdaughters, one's in Australia. We got texts saying my wife's name, which is different. Her surname is different from mine. iPhone found. Click here. Click there, and it was something like, I don't know, secure password site, a .pw site. Went there, and it was a lovely looking website. Like nice Apple logo and really well done technically. It came up in a way that Apple sites come up, asking for the passcode for the device. Just enter it here. Oh yeah. It does make you think twice. Is that Apple coming back? Because obviously, meantime, you've been in touch with Apple. Everybody's been in touch with Apple. My wife has. I have. We've had lots of conversation with Apple, and it looks like Apple telling us, "All right, it's okay. We've managed to find it." Oh my goodness! So and obviously people, my stepdaughter's got them at different times, and they're telling us, "Oh, right." So I'm having to tell a few other close. I don't know how many people have asked for this, but it seemed to be just this. 3 of us. So how did they know my number, which isn't it? I've changed it so many times, to try and avoid things like this. And how do they know? Because it's not everywhere on the internet. So could they have got in? But why are they asking for the passcode if they've already got in? So that was a bit unusual. And then I maybe, because we were all talking on WhatsApp group, maybe the WhatsApp thing is pinging on it. I don't know. But if they're in airplane mode, yeah. So you know what I mean? It's like you start to wonder how they actually got the data. I've no idea. But they got only us. I asked a few, no, nobody else has received the text. So it means that obviously credit cards, driving license and all that means they've got a lot of our identity, location, where we live, date of birth, all of that stuff. So expecting, some, well, we don't know what's going to happen next. That's the lap of the gods. All we have to do is keep phones and all that protected. Obviously, nothing from my side was impacted, and I have the relevant precautions. But it just shows you, we went into Vodafone, Kingston, and we knocked on a door because it says a sign, knock on a door. And they're saying, well, I was like, well, why is it like that? Armed robbery. We get regular armed robbery around here. What did they come in and steal the phones on the shelf? No, they come up and tell us to get access to the back to steal the phones from stock. It's like, wow, is this what it's become? Is this just London? Is this just a mess of London, or is it, the crime is just going up? I mean, you don't normally think about it. You always hear it, but when you're close to it, it does feel quite uncomfortable. So it was a bit of an eye opener, but we managed to get there. I raised an incident. We managed to get the root cause analysis done. It's communicated with stakeholders and then downgraded it to root cause found. Anyway, so I'll let you know further sagas if they arise on that front. Hopefully not. Work-wise, new project. So you just wanted to share this. So lots of people. I mean, you come into a program, not halfway through, but certainly never at the beginning. There's always a time when you think, all right, where are we now? So you try and understand the people involved, what their thinking is. Where do you think we're going? What are our ideas? What are our current understanding of where we are and where we're going. I know you have different views, and you get shy people, and you get people that are a bit more vocal, and you have to kind of try and tease out the different opinions and make sure that it's not just the loudest person, it's the person just collate getting a group view and a consensus of that's where we're going. And one of the things I remember from old was this thing. It's in the back of my head, is Biscardi. And I'm thinking, Biscardi, where did that come from? I wonder. I think it was Hoskins, but then I wondered whether it was even a term that we still use today. And I've obviously asked AI, and they said that Boscard, not the I at the end, Boscard, is a Boscard framework from Capgemini. Oh, there you go. And I work with them, so I must tell them. But apparently, it's a framework which is useful, and it's quite simple. Background objectives, scope constraints, resources or risks, assumptions, this guy are dependencies, and then the I was the issues. Now, that was how we used to always put through a terms of reference. It was at the Royal Bank way back. And it's always a good thing if you know, where are we in this project? Because before you get your objectives, you have to understand the background. Before you get your scope, you have to understand, the background as well. So everything then falls. Your objectives come from the scope and the risks and assumptions and all that. So it's a nice kind of structure to make sure you know where you are, and you haven't jumped too far ahead. And then there's have you got your architecture or design, and you're in execution already? Why are we in execution? Why are we even thinking about that if we haven't actually got our design together? So it's really a case of aligning everything, and getting there's a lot of technical speak it goes on, but allowing that to happen, and allowing that but within a framework, because otherwise you can't get your arms around just where you are. And then if you can't get your arms around it, then how can you come up with a plan? And then the old plan for a plan. Well, how can we have a plan if we don't know what we're doing? Well, you can have a plan for a plan, which is what are you going to do to get to the point where you have a plan? So there's always something you can do. And the old term slicing an elephant is obviously a good one I always use, but because it is true, it's become so big in people's heads, and it is a big, program when you're doing things infrastructure wise. It can be very, very significant and complex. And when you go down there, a lot of the avenues, you can get lost. So step by step, one slice the elephant. Let's get the first bit done. And the first bit done is that framing it and structuring it, and making sure everybody's brought into it, because you can't leave people behind, because they might have something that they're just not speaking about, but they're feeling uncomfortable, but they don't know what it is that they're feeling uncomfortable about. And that's really valuable, because if they are feeling uncomfortable, maybe there is some gem there that say, why are we doing it that way? Why not do it this way? So you've got to tease out those. So today we've got a 3-hour workshop. So and that's really the only way you can do these things. Bring people together, have that uncomfortable discussion and debate, and take lots of notes, and start to frame it that way. So that's where I am at the moment. It's an uncomfortable place for everybody. I don't feel good in when I'm in this forming stage, because it's much better further down when you're in that. Oh, we know what we're doing. Oh, we're working well, and everything's going great. But this forming is kind of rough and uncertain, and it's getting that certainty, as I always say, is turning that unknown into a known, and turning the project into something that is actually regular day work. We know what we're doing, we know where we're going, we know what our plans are, we know what our milestones are, we know all the elements of delivering this. We've even got an end date, and we're monitoring the milestones as we reach that end date to make sure we can achieve it. So that's where we are at the moment. It's you could. I've been around this loop. I'm 40. It's more than 50 years actually. That's sad. No, it's under 50 years. No, hold on a minute. I just have to work out my age. It's about 47 years I've been kind of doing this stuff. But it's always fun, and it's always challenging the mind. It never gets tiring. So anyway, you have a fantastic day. Don't get your phone stolen. It's not fun. Don't take it for granted. People want them out there. They're very expensive, and therefore easy to steal, because they can't go into, they can't rob banks anymore, because we're all secure. But they can steal your phone from you, and that's the thing to protect. So look after yourself. Cheers.